Welcome back to No Substitutes, the show where I have some of my favorite people on and we talk about what ingredients make them who they are. And today I have a very, very special guest that I'm very incredibly honored to interview. He's one of the most influential chefs. He's won countless awards, such as the James Beard Foundation for Outstanding Chef of the Year. You may have seen him on a documentary, one of my favorite documentaries, The Last Magnificent. Everyone, please welcome Jeremiah Tower.
Hi.
Hi.
Welcome everybody. Hi, how are you? Thank you
Yeah.
for inviting me to this podcast.
Thank you for joining, and thank you to your husband for coordinating everything. That was super awesome. So how are you? How's your day?
Fine. It's just turned nice and warm again in Mexico, in our part of Mexico.
Awesome.
It got cold. I mean, it got down to 80 degrees, for God's sakes, nearly freezing.
Ooh, wow. Jeez.
That's cold.
Yeah,
Cool.
that's
This
cold
part
for
of-
you.
Yeah.
So what is it like year round there?
What is it like? Sorry, what?
What is it like year round, like weather wise? I don't know.
I mean, last year it was very hot, but it's usually, it's tropical. It's,
Okay.
85, 90 degrees or more.
Yeah, okay. I've only been to like Sayulita area, and I think
yeah.
it was
That's
a little
much
more, yeah, it was a little more dry. So I'll have to keep in mind the Yucatan area is more tropical. Okay, well, let's get into it. What are 3 ingredients you would say that you need for your profession?
It's people always think it's job description or the resume. It's not that at all. It's attitude. I mean,
Attitude.
You don't need to know anything, but you can always learn. And if somebody's willing to learn, then they don't have to have a lot of experience to become a wonderful line cook or waiter or whatever.
Uh-huh.
So it's attitude and curiosity. You want to learn and a work ethic. If you don't want to work and you don't have the right attitude, then you're useless in
Right.
the restaurant business and hospitality business.
That's fair. I've definitely have come across people with poor attitudes, and immediately that makes it very hard to train them or teach them anything. So I get that one. What was your favorite meal at the first restaurant you worked at?
Oh, the first, Chez Panisse.
Yeah, I was
the
going to say it was
executive chef
Chez
of Chez
Panisse
Panisse
was
my first day on
the...
the job.
Oh,
I'd
okay.
never cooked before, professionally anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, the menu changed every night. So we almost never cooked the same dishes twice.
Whoa.
So I can't even remember what my favorite is, but I love cooking bouillabaisse,
Oh, okay.
all the seafood in the Bay Area.
Right. I actually just ate at Chez Panisse for the first time like a couple weeks ago. I have no idea when the last time you were there, but it's like the downstairs is like a set menu, and then the
Yes.
upstairs is a cafe. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, when was the last time you were...
I was there for the 40th anniversary. Had dinner with Alice in the dining room.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah,
Amazing.
so that was what, 10 years ago or something? Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. I was like sort of early, serves recently, but okay. Well,
And how were you up? You were downstairs, you said? Or
yeah, we were downstairs.
Was it any good?
It was good. Yeah. I kind of wished we had done the cafe though. The cafe was so lifelike and way more, rambunctious and
More fun.
I more fun. And I kind of like that energy in restaurants
Right.
versus the, we sit down, it's very mellow.
Like
and-
going to church.
yeah, I don't really like dinners like that. I didn't really know I didn't know which one to set a reservation for, so I figured,
Right.
and I was going with someone who is also a chef, so I was like, oh, maybe a set menu would be more of our speed, but no, we were both kind of like, oh, the cafe is like way more fun.
Yes,
So,
yes. Well, it's so famous, the downstairs, that everyone's intimidated.
yeah, I guess so. I should have done more research. So next time, I think I'm gonna just go eat at
Go
the
upstairs.
cafe.
Yep.
What are some of your other favorite Bay Area restaurants? Since I just selfishly asking, so next time I go to dinner, in
Well,
case.
I used to go to Zuni's 3 or 4 times a week.
Oh, okay,
I haven't really been back since the pandemic.
okay.
So Foreign Cinema, I think, is a wonderful restaurant. And that's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm not going to talk about any others because then I won't be able to go back to San Francisco.
Right. No, fair, fair.
But dim sum at Yangtze was always one of my favorites as well.
Okay. I'll keep those ones in mind then.
Good.
And I won't share them with anyone else. We'll bleep out this whole part. No, it's okay. Sharing is caring. Yeah, I'm kind of heartbroken that I never got to experience Stars, but I was literally a baby, I think, before it even closed. So, but
We could have served you a glass of champagne anyway.
really, well, that would have been fitting.
And you've seen the documentary that Tony Bourdain did, right? The Last Magnificent.
Yes, I
You saw
did.
footage of Stars at its glory.
Yeah, it looked like the Studio 54 of restaurants.
What a wonderful way to describe it.
Right? That's the energy it was giving. I really, really, yeah.
Dangerous and exciting.
Yes, exactly. And during a time period where, I don't know, people still wore like costumes out to dinner and
Right.
yeah, it just
If they wore
everyone,
anything at all.
if they wore anything at all,
There was
exactly.
one guy came through, a homeless guy, completely naked, streaked through the restaurant. And of course, incident like that stops everybody cold and they think, oh, this restaurant's out of control. I hate the food. So I just stopped him and I said, get this man a glass of champagne.
Oh
He
my
looked-
God.
He looked like he was so scared he ran off.
He's like, wait, you guys are supposed to submit to me and be scared
Right.
of me, but you
Right.
just welcomed him with open arms.
The whole restaurant stood up and clapped. So it
Oh
was
my
obsessed.
God. Oh, see, I'm like, that's the kind of restaurants I wish still existed. But everyone's that's even kind of what made me fall out of love with working in the restaurant industry is everyone seems to be so, I don't know. I like working in the mom and pop restaurants, but the more like corporate side of cooking really took a lot of the love of it out. Took a lot of the love I had for it out because of just how structured.
There's no corporate love there. I mean, it has to come from an owner or a couple of owners.
For sure.
Inspired every day.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. What advice would you give to a new inspiring chef?
Read a lot, taste a lot. Go and even if you can afford just one dish or something, go to the famous places and see whether it's fun or whether it's just all hype or PR or Instagram.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I don't want to pay $350 for Instagram eating.
Right.
So go and have a drink and an appetizer and see. If it's great, then try some more and figure out what the restaurant is doing right or wrong.
Right. That was actually one of the reasons why I moved out of Los Angeles. I feel like a lot of restaurants here are all for Instagram eating.
Right.
And it's so upsetting because
just all appearance.
And it's all very like overrated because then you see photos of beautiful food or things. But again, it's like for me, I love good food. I love good wine.
Right.
And I love good atmosphere. And I have not come by a restaurant in Los Angeles that really captures all of it. But a lot of them are very picturesque and great for Instagram. So if that's what,
But can they cook is the question.
But can they cook? Exactly. There's been a few restaurants I'm like, you can't even do a baked potato right. All right. I'm not paying $50 a plate for cold baked potatoes, but it's okay. What is so different about French chickens? Why did you put this question in?
Talk about French chicken.
Oh, you talk about French chickens a lot, apparently.
Well, because I mean, in France, even for a long time, still probably they have various grades of chicken. I mean, you can spend the
Oh.
cheapest one, or you can, $50 to get your breast chicken, which are the sort of whole new meaning of free range. I mean, they wander around the forest. And one night, my chef of the chef de partie, Marc France, we were there at Stars. It was a Friday night. It was very busy. And I started talking about, I don't know, talking about French chickens again. He said, if you ever talk about those fucking French chickens again, I quit. I said, okay. I presented him with a ticket. Until I went to Paris and tasted chicken. And he got the point exactly.
Oh, okay. And then he was like, I get it.
Not yes.
Okay. Well, I'm actually going to Paris next month, so I'll have to remember that.
Wow.
Yeah. Do you have any recommendations on where I'm going to get some good chickens?
I would go to one of the brasseries like Chez Georges.
Chez Georges. Okay.
Yeah, I mean it's traditional,
Okay.
but right on the button in terms of great cooking.
Mhm.
They can cook.
Oh, okay. Yeah, New York and Paris are probably my favorite cities where I've not had a bad meal. So I'm excited to go back. I'm taking my mother for her first time, so
Oh, wonderful.
I'm gonna expose her to all kinds of good food. But she's a very picky eater, so we'll see how
Does she
far.
like oysters?
No, I know she doesn't like any seafood, which
dear.
I love. Seafood's my favorite. I don't
Well,
know
you can
how.
sneak out and have oysters.
Oh, I mean, I told her we're going all the places I want to go because
Right.
I'm paying for the trip. So I'm like, you can find steak frites probably anywhere, but
You can have a great Dover sole.
yeah, exactly. I was curious, was there anything about getting your master's degree in architecture that helped you in cooking or the culinary world?
Yes, in terms of being organized and how to plate the food, not Instagram, but just
Right.
3 or 4 things on the plate only.
Did your brain kind of always work like that, like since childhood, or did architecture have more of an influence on it to kind of be that like structured? Because I didn't learn, I don't feel like my brain was like that until I started cooking, and then I was like, oh, I love this. Like,
Right.
mhm.
No, the school definitely taught me how to organize my mind. And
Mhm.
then also, I designed all my own restaurants and built them. So
Yeah,
really,
that's yeah. Again, it's incredibly impressive. You're almost like the overachiever of chefs. Like when I watched The Last Magnificent, I was kind of like, I didn't know like any human could do all that this man has done, and that you continue to do. You still do a lot. Like I feel like with your career and now with your is it Subtract?
Substack, the writing.
Substack, yeah. The writing, yeah. So sorry,
And
not
events.
to fluff your ego some more. I'm just very impressed by you.
Oh, thank you.
Well, who is someone who's influenced you in your life that's kind of been more inspiring?
I was thinking about that earlier, and I have to say that my mother's sister, my aunt, who was married to a Russian space scientist, she was a cordon bleu trained cook, and she was fabulous. So one of the first lessons she gave me in Washington, D.C., she took me to a supermarket and said, okay, get me 2 pounds of green beans. So I stood there by myself and picked out all the biggest green beans I could find. Came back, 30 minutes later and took the bag, emptied them out on top of the green beans. And she said, now pick all the little ones that haven't even formed yet. That's Eric Rivera. That's the green bean that you need.
Whoa.
Well, I mean, after I'd spent 30 minutes picking out the biggest ones I could find,
Right.
you go back and pick the little ones, which are very difficult. But that was so
Wow.
the first day I was cooking at Chez Panisse, that I was the head chef. I'd never cooked before professionally. they brought in a big crate of Kentucky Wonder Beans, each weighing, half a pound. I said, no, I can't use those. Remembering my aunt scolding me for even looking at the big ones.
Oh, wow.
And then, of course, apart from the cookbooks and everything I've read, wonderful people like James Beard, Richard Olney, who wrote 2 fabulous cookbooks, an American who lived in the south of France, Julia Child, Elizabeth David in England. Yeah.
Wow. I love that story. I'll have to remember that. I didn't know that about green beans. What's the best homemade meal someone has made you?
Homemade meal. Well, I love a great hamburger,
Love a great.
It's got black truffles
Oh,
at
yeah.
Christmas. That's my go-to home
Yeah.
cooked meal. Simple.
Simple.
Grandma's, as Tony Bourdain used to say to young cooks, can you cook? Do you know how to make an omelet?
Oh, yeah.
And they would look at him and say, well, why? Why are you asking that? So anybody who can cook honestly and simply, that's fine with me.
I love that. Because I grew up with a mom that always cooked the same few meals, but they were consistent and they always brought the same feeling and flavor.
Right.
So it's a very comforting thing.
What was your favorite?
I didn't love it, but the older I got, I fell in love with it. My mom, when she would try to make us eat healthy, she would make this homemade broccoli cashew soup, but she would also soak her own cashews overnight.
Right.
And then,
Wow.
yeah, it was very rich, very filling. And then we would have this freshly baked sourdough loaf, and so eat the soup with that.
Yes.
And so
Soaking the bread in the soup.
it's probably one of my favorites. If she made that today, I'd feel like I was 6 years old again.
Right.
So those are.
Every Sunday morning, my mother cooked huevos rancheros from scratch.
Oh my God!
Because
wow.
my parents had lived in Mexico. That was amazing. I really look forward to those.
Yeah. Were there any foods that you disliked as a kid, but that you like now?
No, there are very few foods that I don't like. I don't like fast food, or fast death food, as I call it.
Right, fast death.
But it's all about ingredients. It always has been, always will be. If the ingredients are perfect, like any little town. Oh, Curtis just showed me a little note, kale.
Oh.
Yeah, I hate kale. And I hate it become a fad. I don't like fads unless they last, 6 months.
Right.
But, really, that's cow food.
Yeah, kale. That's fair. I never understood kale. I always see new things popping up too, just because people are getting more educated. But the newest thing, I think, is everyone's starting to realize or not like seed oils. And I think I actually did see something that someone posted that kale's not actually good for you, but it was probably someone that just also doesn't like kale. Or the fats come and go. Yeah.
Look at butter. Lots of butter, no butter.
Yeah.
Make you happy, make you live longer.
I still use butter because
moderation is the thing.
Yeah, exactly. I think too much of anything is not the best, but I don't know. I love butter though. Butter's kind of hard for me to.
I just got a comment on Substack about my mashed potato recipe, which is not really mine. It was a French chef, Robuchon.
Oh, from Robuchon.
It's 50% mashed potato, 25% butter, and 25% cream.
That seems about right.
Unbelievable. And the person said, "Oh, that's so unhealthy." I said, "Well, you don't eat them every day.
Yeah.
Have them every few months."
No, it's a Thanksgiving food, if anything.
Yeah, and these are very rich, of course. I was at this restaurant in Paris for the first time, and I knew about the potatoes, so I ordered some. And I canceled the rest of the menu and said, "Bring me more potatoes."
There you go. So, and then sometimes you just want mashed potatoes. I feel like it's another good comfort food that no matter what mood you're in, that's going to put a smile on my face. So.
There we go. If you tasted those potatoes, you'd be definitely smiling.
Oh, I bet. I mean, I have to subscribe to the Substack and make them. Well, I mean, you pretty much just told me the recipe, but
Right.
just to support. um, what was the first meal you ever learned to cook?
Oh boy. It was in England because we lived in England when I was young. Um, I can't remember what the first one was, but certainly Huevos Rancheros was one. I was more interested in the wine cellar.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
How old were you?
12.
12. Okay, I guess, yeah. In Europe, that's
But it
when
was in
you.
the family, so I mean, I was
Yeah.
learning about wine. And
Yeah, have a little.
my father was thrilled that I was interested. So I
Okay.
would select the wine with him, and then I'd open it and decant it. Yeah,
Awesome.
I was allowed one glass.
When you were 12?
Right.
Yeah.
That was Europe. I haven't
Yeah, Europe. That's, again, though, a place where they've learned how to be moderate about their alcohol intake.
Yes.
Whereas America, they make us wait so long. So when everyone gets to 21, they go crazy and they either develop an addiction or
Right.
quit by like 25.
Right.
The
Italians got it down.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
glass of wine with lunch
Mm-hmm.
keeps you healthy and happy.
Mm-hmm. I go through my phases of not drinking too much, but I think wine's always going to have to be a part of my diet.
Right.
It's just too good. And it's also it's something that complements a meal usually. I mean,
Yes.
that's usually why I'm drinking it. I'm not just
Not just
well,
alcohol.
yeah, not just drinking it just to drink it, but like today, for sure, a glass would have been great before this, but I think I've calmed down. What is an unpopular food opinion that you have?
Well, I think my most unpopular opinion now is about Instagram cooking. It's all
Instagram
about
cooking?
it's so ironic because the hero of many chefs, Auguste Escoffier, the one who changed French cooking forever, he was rebelling against appearance food, that it was just the way it looked. He said, no, 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 we have to, and that's why he wrote this famous cookbook with all the recipes, so that he'd bring back food that was properly and healthfully cooked. But now, I mean, tweezer food, you plate the food and then you spend 10 minutes with tweezers. I mean, what happened?
Yeah, no.
Not right. It's just not right.
No. The last chef I worked under, he had a rule, and it was no tweezers. So I had big respect for him for that.
Right.
I really enjoyed that. Yeah, I never. It's very interesting when I see a group of like 10 people around one plate. It looks like they're brain surgeons.
Well,
But-
some of the prices they charge, it should be.
For sure. Yeah, that's also what's kind of crazy.
But when you see that little tiny flower being placed exactly in some place on the plate, then the waiter picks up the dish, carries it out to the dining room. It's probably blown away.
I know. I don't get it. I don't get it. What about, have you gone to any restaurants? Maybe I'm not cultured enough, but what's with like foam? Like there's restaurants that serve straight up foam to.
That's taking a fad, and that they just don't understand at all what it was all about. And when something comes out of the hands of a genius like the Spanish chef who invented that, then when they do it, fine. So for me, like a mushroom foam on a dish, not the whole thing, but you get all the flavor, you get the essence of the mushrooms, and it's not fatty. It's not it's not hidden by cream or butter, which also, by the way, really delicious with mushrooms. But if you don't want that weight of richness on a dish, then the foam is good. But when you then, a few years later, and you've got young cooks with their foam machines who don't understand, never understood, won't understand the origin of it, which was in the hands of a genius chef who wanted maximum flavor without the richness of cream and butter.
Okay. Well,
So
that makes sense.
It has its place.
For sure. Yeah, that makes sense. It's like just a little plate with foam and, like you said, those little flowers, though, that's where I'm kind of like, why is this? What is this?
Isn't
And
it?
what-
It's stupid is what it is.
Yeah, it's, I don't know. But places like Los Angeles where no one likes to eat kind of makes sense. But
You see,
anywhere, anywhere else, I'm kind of like, this is just overdoing it with the, I don't know. Yeah.
or underdoing it.
Underdoing it for sure. I'm trying to figure out how I want to face this question because from the time that you were a chef to seeing where restaurants are going now with their menus, like I'm very curious how much it's changed and if you think it's for the better or worse. I don't know how often you go out to eat though.
All the time.
Okay.
But the food revolution has worked. Perfect ingredients have come back and are available everywhere. What happens to them when they get into a restaurant is sometimes questionable. But a great chef knows how to get the perfect ingredients, and then even more importantly, or as importantly, how to look after them so they don't sit in the walk-in too long, how to get them into the hands of the right line cooks, how to present it. I mean, but it is all about perfect ingredients. Always will be. And if they aren't delicious and perfect and fresh, then there's not much you can do.
Yeah. Have you ever worked somewhere or, because I know you've also rebuilt like restaurants that were, I forget the place in, was it Tavern in New York?
Tavern on the Green, yes.
Tavern on the Green.
Oh.
Like, have you ever worked somewhere that you walk in, you're just like shocked and also just like disgusted by their routine of like first in, first out, or working with frozen foods or not fresh ingredients, or seeing like what they try to do with if there's an ingredient that's about to expire. I don't know.
No matter what a restaurant or a chef says, you would go and look in his walk-in main kitchen, and that'll tell you everything. When I first started to teach in the late 70s at the California Culinary Academy, first day I was there, the chef wheeled in this cart full of stuff, and there was a gallon can of chicken bouillon powder. And I thought, oh my God. They made the canapes for the Friday reception starting on Tuesday. I mean, think of bread painted with anyway, I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Oh no. Yeah. On
the Tavern on the Green, I looked in the walk-in and I thought, oh dear, there's an awful lot of work to be done here.
Yeah.
We're buying pre-made food.
Yeah.
Food.
Yeah. That's never a good sign. Or there's a food supply that I always see in front of certain restaurants, and I'm like, oh, I'm probably not gonna eat there. I don't know. I don't want. Huh?
Yeah. One of the big companies with a truck outside, right?
Yeah. I'm like, maybe I shouldn't say the name, but yeah. I was like, I don't know if they'll get mad, but yeah, anytime I see a Cisco truck outside of a restaurant, I usually am kind of like, all right.
Well, they better be delivering Perrier or something,
Right, for sure. But if it's like meat or eggs or anything, I'm kind of like, that's upsetting. But especially if it's a restaurant that, again, kind of prides themselves on being more of an upscale place.
Right.
and I see Cisco in front of your restaurant, I'm kind of I don't know about that.
Morning.
Oh, I didn't know you had a Italian Greyhound. You guys did your research. Oh, if you had, yeah, Lola, if you had to give, this is a sad question. If you had to give up your Italian Greyhound, Lola, or cooking, what would you choose? That's a mean question.
I didn't ask that question.
Cooking, I'd find somebody else to cook for me.
There
Or
you
train
go.
the dog to cook.
Or train her to cook. There you go. See, he's too smart for your guys' questions. If you could have one more meal with Tony Bourdain, what would it be?
Well, you know, Tony was an amazing guy, one of the most intelligent and fabulous with interviews and his one-liners, you know. But whenever I'd go to a restaurant, like a Vietnamese or Chinese restaurant, he'd never choose very good ones. I don't know about Tony's palate. He certainly knew a lot more than all of us, you know, put together. But the restaurants, I would always say, Tony, why are we here? I didn't ask him.
Right.
But, you know, when he opened his restaurant in New York, in Manhattan, I went to see it because I'd read Kitchen Confidential and I was blown away. And then he came out and said, well, what do you think? I said, food's pretty bad. Mediocre.
Right.
You know, I'm looking to see him again. And he loved me for that. So that's why I think one of the reasons he kept in touch.
Yeah.
And did the documentary.
Oh.
So what would I cook for him?
Or what would, whether it's cooking or going out to eat, your choice, since apparently you didn't like his choices. What would your last meal be with him?
I would take him and have cochinita tacos here.
Oh.
I mean, the pig cooked, wrapped in banana leaves and orange, sour orange juice and garlic, cooked in the ground like a clam bake.
Oh.
You take a tortilla and just grab the meltingly luscious pork. Oh, yeah. He would love it.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
So would I.
Oh, my God. That sounds phenomenal. Oh, my mouth has got... Whew. That sounds amazing. Did you ever do an episode of any of his shows with him, or were you kind of still not wanting to do too much media at that point?
No, because when he came to Mexico, he came to Yucatan. I wasn't here, I think.
Oh, okay. That would have been a phenomenal episode.
He was very brave, you know, when he did things that were politically dangerous, like he went to Libya to show the American public that it was all about families that are on the table with the kids having dinner. It wasn't about Marines or aircraft carriers. So I thought he was very brave. We did that in a couple of countries that at the time were politically incorrect in the United States.
Yeah. I mean, especially America, like our media loves to cover the tragedy and the horrificness of other countries or the evilness that they see. But that was what was so great, and what I think his show spoke to so many people, because he showed like it's food. Food is always what is bringing people together at the end of the day. And going to cultures, going to places that many people would consider, because of the media, not even thinking of going to or caring about, because they're just used to whatever the media is showing them.
Exactly.
So definitely would have been, I wish you guys did an episode together. That would have been so good.
One of my favorite Tony stories is we were going to an interview for CBS to talk about the documentary, The Last Magnificent. And we were about to go into the studio, into the building, and across the street there were like 15 huge guys protesting something or other, but very organized, very loud. And we walked along, and one of the guys said, Tony. And they all went, Tony, Tony, Tony. He walked over to them and said, guys, would you just keep it down for about an hour? We've got an interview. They said, absolutely.
Oh,
Here
my
are these
God.
professional New Jersey what do you call this? Picketers.
Picketers.
He just turned into mice for Tony Bourdain.
Yeah.
It was amazing to see.
Yeah. That's insane. I've always heard, I never met him, but anybody famous or not famous that have encountered him have all said that he is just the nicest and tallest man that they have ever met. Like taller than like I guess you would think. I'm like, oh, crazy. I already thought he was pretty big, but yeah. Or just few people have the same story of him like coming to the bar, leather jacket, smoking a cigarette outside New York. No matter like how famous he got, he always just kind of was Tony, I guess.
Yeah.
Just very, yeah. I wish I could have had the opportunity, but
Curtis was saying I should tell the greatest one-liner but I'm not sure I can say it on this show.
Oh, you can.
Okay. You can always cut it out.
I'm like, if it's too dirty, then Chris will edit. Yeah.
And then so somebody, again, like CBS or something, but the thing about Tony, he was just like that. In a second, he had a reply. And they asked him, so what would be the last meal? Would you want great food or great sex? And he went immediately said, well, it depends who's doing the cooking and who's doing the fucking.
Yeah. Oh, that's so fair, though. Very logical answer,
right?
In my opinion, yeah. Let's see. Ooh, you have spoke about having lunch with your Russian uncle, who is a space scientist. Of all the people you have met and meals you have had, which meal is most memorable? Which one do you wish you could relive?
I think it was a lunch with Richard Olney, the famous American writer. It was in Alsace in France and at Auberge de Lille. And we started with Krug champagne and Remy Krug was there.
Whoa.
We started with champagne on the lawn outside and lawn went down to a river with all the willow trees and everything.
Oh my God.
They said they got their frogs and pike fish from the river. Anyway, we sat down and a little timbal, a little turned out shape, white with white sauce on top. And I cut into it and out tumbled little tiny boned frog's legs. It was a pike mousse. The sauce was made from the bones of the pike and the frog's legs. That was amazing. Of course, a fabulous white burgundy with it was also helped.
Oh my God.
I would do that again.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. Do you think because you were perpetually the outsider growing up that shaped your mind to think outside of the box?
Oh, yes. I was always an outsider and the stranger in the crowd because, when we moved to Australia, I was a Yank. When we moved from Australia to England, I was an Aussie and the accent's always wrong. And then, then I moved to the States to go to school and they were like, oh, you're a Brit, what is that accent? Must be fake, all that sort of thing. So I've never really fit in because we're always traveling too much, living in all those different places.
Right.
So even though I was born, I'm a US citizen, an American, I don't really think like one because I'm sort of mid-Atlantic somewhere, backwards and forwards.
Yeah. Where are all the places that you've lived, or was that it? Just the UK and or not the
Italy,
UK?
France,
Yeah, Italy.
United States.
Oh my. Okay. No, there's a lot more.
Australia.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where in Australia?
In Sydney.
Sydney.
Right,
Nice.
right above the harbour.
Nice. I've been to Wollongong, so right below, and then I went to the Gold Coast, so I think right above. If I'm not,
it's
I'm not the best.
New South Wales.
Yeah, but yeah, Australia's lovely.
Did you go diving? You scuba dive?
I didn't. I really want to. I actually might come do that in Mexico sometime soon because I hear diving there is
Cozumel is the place to go.
okay. Cozumel,
Cozumel,
noted.
for sure.
Yeah. Okay, I'll go diving there. Do you like diving?
I used to dive a lot. I mean, 3, 4, 5 days a week
Oh my
for a
God.
long time. So yes, and I moved to Cozumel
Oh, okay.
to dive.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Growing up in Australia, I was very afraid of sharks. So
Mm-hmm.
after I sold my restaurant, I thought, no, what am I going to do for adrenaline? Dive with sharks. Get over my fear of sharks. And that's what I did.
That's actually why I want to go diving. Not to get the adrenaline. I'm sure that'll be part of it, but I have a fear of the ocean and the creatures below it. And I feel like exposing myself to it will make, I don't know, I just feel like exposing yourself to anything that you're afraid of
Absolutely.
there's only growth to come from that.
The surface is the scary part. I hate being on the surface. But
Yeah.
once underneath,
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like,
magic.
mm-hmm. Yeah. Did you ever do any, so then you probably never did any water sports like surfing or anything growing up?
No,
No.
because when I went to Hawaii, I would sit on the balcony and have champagne and chicken club sandwiches for 3 days in order to calm down.
Right.
And I was back to work.
Yeah. Oh. Well, that's fair. I probably would do the same thing. So you're a chef, an author. Did getting the original recommendation from author James Beard for Chez Panisse mean more to you considering the trajectory of your career or receiving the Beard Award for your first book, New American Classics?
What was the first part?
Did getting the original recommendation from James Beard for Chez Panisse mean more or receiving it for your first book, New American Classics?
Actually, it was Jim Beard who advised me to leave Chez Panisse and open my own restaurant.
Oh.
I mean, I was a co-owner at Chez Panisse.
Right.
He said, it'll always be Alice's restaurant. You have to open your own.
Mm-hmm.
Then I decided to go to San Francisco instead of Berkeley. And
Yeah.
that's when I opened Stars.
Yeah.
The
Awesome.
inspiration for which were those big brasseries in France, like Beurre-sur-le-Toit.
Mm.
And I walked in one night. I used to go, when I was in Paris, I'd always go at midnight to one of the brasseries. Beurre-sur-le-Toit, or as the one I normally go to.
Mm-hmm.
And I walked in and there were two absolutely beautiful models sitting right in the front of the first table, long red fingernails, and they had one of those enormous towers of seafood,
Oh.
4 layers, and they were digging the crab meat out of the shells with their little fingernails. And I thought, one of these days, I want my restaurant to be just like this. It was
Wow.
so amazing.
Oh, that sounds amazing. Do we have any producer questions? I don't know if you guys can.
It's going to be difficult because I'm not going to be able to hear the answer. But I was wondering if you could talk a little bit more about your wine festival.
Oh yeah. We wanted to hear more about the wine festival, food and wine.
Food and wine?
Yes. So that's happening in Ojai, you said?
Yes, in March.
March.
They said, what do you want to do? And I said, I'd like to do a lunch with 3 chefs. And the chefs are Elizabeth Faulkner, Susan Feniger, and Mary Sue Milliken.
Oh wow! Are
And they
all
said,
all
wow.
women?
Yeah, I said, let's do
Love
that
it.
because I know they can cook,
Right.
and it's not tweezer food.
Not tweezer food.
And also, yeah, I thought it would be a great idea, and that's what we're doing.
Awesome. So that's gonna be so
we
fun.
have the opening night for 500 people. I'm doing a taste.
Oh
there.
my God.
So
Okay.
I'm allied with Petrosian caviar from France and
Mhm.
Krug champagne. So I thought, well, I'll crawl my way there for that.
Mhm.
Then there's a lunch for about 80 people, and then there's a meet and greet, and then there's the rest of the festival. And you can
Okay.
see it online. The line of people, the talent at the festival is astonishing, really amazing.
Awesome. Wow. Oh, you have one more question?
Yeah. I have one more question. When you met your husband, did he already have like good taste in food, or did you have to kind of teach him to appreciate like
I'm actually
finer
curious
food?
about that too.
Oh, he had a great taste because he was a waiter at Farallon at the time. And we
Oh.
met because I was there with the legendary socialite from San Francisco, Denise Hale, and some other people.
Oh,
And
okay.
I put on my best Armani, and Curtis came over. He was about to pour the bottle of Krug, I think it was. And he
Oh.
looked up and we saw each other, and he spilled champagne all over the table and me.
Oh.
He didn't freak out. So I thought, not freak out in front of me and Denise Hale.
Right.
Then this guy's got to be great. And he is.
Oh. When was that? When did you guys meet?
How long ago was that? 15 years ago?
Oh. Aw. Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I'm trying to think if I have any more questions for the great Jeremiah Tower. Now that I've calmed down. I actually think, I don't know. I think
Pretty
I
much
have.
covered it, I think.
I think I got everything. I'm so honored to have gotten this interview. So thank you for doing this and
Thank you.
Sharing your time with us. I'll be sure to keep an eye out for any events, especially ones that happen if you come back to the Bay Area.
Right. Lola. Oh, let me show you Lola.
Yes, Lola.
And we're probably doing in the fall foreign cinema again in San Francisco.
Okay.
A Stars Evening.
Ooh, a Stars Evening.
Here's our star.
Oh.
You see her?
Yay. She's so pretty.
And smart.
Pretty and smart. And
But I haven't bought her to cook yet.
she's a greyhound, you said?
Italian Greyhound.
Okay.
Small like a whippet.
Uh-huh. Oh wait. Will you? Well, awesome. So everyone
You're a
should.
great interviewer.
Oh, thank you. That means a lot coming from you. Where can the fans find you?
On Substack.com, Jeremiah Tower at Substack. And there's always Google, of course.
Right, Google. Yeah. I'm like, if you guys already know who he is, I don't know why you guys are subscribed to my channel. I'm like, if you know who I am and you don't know who this is, then something's wrong with you.
Jeremiah Tower at Substack.com. That's
Okay.
the way to find me. And every week, an article with recipes and photographs from my career, anecdotes about famous people, cooking for Sophia Loren,
Oh my God.
a lot of stuff
Oh my God. That's so
from
awesome.
the archives.
And you guys know where to find me. Thank you so much, Jeremiah Tower.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Yay.